Hi, this is Laura Milligan. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Thank you for joining me today as I share with you a video tutorial.
Hi, thanks for joining me. I'd like to share with you today my fabric paper snip holders. They are the perfect size and shape to hold Stampin' Up's paper snips. So let me show you how I made those. I have two versions of this. You can see this one has a little bit of machine stitching on it. I used my sewing machine. And then if you don't sew, this is a no-sew version, and I will show you how to make each one of those. So to start, the pattern that I used is actually one of the dies for the Big Shot. This is the petal cone die, and there are a lot of wonderful things that you can make with paper projects with this die, but we're going to use it for fabric. So to do the paper snip holder, you do not use these two parts of the die. We just need this shape. So what I did was I took two pieces of fabric about 6 inches by 7 inches, and I ironed a fabric adhesive sheet on both pieces of fabric on the wrong side. This is what the fabric adhesive sheets look like. They're sold by Stampin' Up! And there's a really important sticker on here. It says iron this side. Really important, because if you iron on this side, this is the sticky part, and that's all going to stick to your iron, and it will be a mess. Not a good thing. So just iron on that side, and you're going to cut this to about 6 by 7, the same size as your fabric. You just iron this on, and it's just going to pull right off. It's really easy to work with, and you can see, I think you can see that's shiny there. That glossy look, that's actually the adhesive. So you'll do that with two pieces of fabric. I used Stampin' Up's Comfort Cafe fabric, which I love, and I pulled the backing off after I adhered it to the back of my fabric, pulled the backing off of the adhesive sheet and ironed it onto a piece of felt. So I did that on one side of the felt, flipped it over, took my fabric and ironed it on the other side of the felt. I then put that whole piece through my Big Shot, and my sandwich was my cutting plate, the die, my fabric, and then another cutting plate. Sometimes when I'm cutting fabric with my Big Shot, I like to put a piece of cardstock here just as an extra shim to make the shape pop out real easily. So when you run it through the Big Shot, it will come out looking like this. And I love how clear and precise the edges are, just nice and clean. To make the paper snip holder, you don't need this little flap here, so I just took my scissors and snipped that off. It's going to end up looking like this. It's a big heart shape. If you want to do this as a no-sew project, what you would do at this point is put a thin piece of fabric adhesive sheet, or you could probably use sticky strip, along this edge here. And if you're using the fabric adhesive sheet, you would want to press that really well, and that will hold it shut. Then put some more fabric adhesive under this little flap here and press this down, and you can see you have your shape. That's how that forms. What I would do is tack this, if you can even thread a needle and just put a couple stitches there just to hold this together at the top. And then you want to embellish it with a flower, which I will show you in a minute. If you want to sew this, like in this version, what I did was I just stitched with my machine around both curved pieces here. Then I took some flowers that I had also cut with my Big Shot. These are from the Fancy Flower die, and I stitched those on with my machine. And then I folded this down and stitched across that as well, just a few stitches to hold that in place. I folded it all together, and then I started right where this fold line was for the flap and just stitched all the way down the edge, and that's really all there is to it. I like to scrunch up my flowers. You can either add a little bit of spray starch to scrunch them up, or sometimes I mix designer paper with the fabric, but for this I believe I just used some fabric starch. Let me bring this finished one in here now. You can see then how I added a coordinating Stampin' Up! Button, the baker's twine, and some cute ribbon. These are all Stampin' Up! Products, and it makes it so nice because they all coordinate. And let me bring these others in here too. This is the no-sew version. And then here's just a third one with the Beau Chateau fabric. So I hope this answers your questions about how to make these paper snip holders, and thank you so much for watching my video.